Welcome to the Blueprint Breakers podcast. What is a blueprint breaker? If you live your life outside the typical traditional lifestyle blueprint, you are a blueprint breaker. We are here to start a conversation, to assemble resources, and to build a community. This podcast is for empowered women in midlife and beyond who are preparing for a powerful next era of life. My name is Amy A. Palmer. I am your host and facilitator for our conversations. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. To stay connected, up to date, and to receive all of our free resources and gifts along the way, join us at community.blueprintbreakers.com. If you're a woman over 40 who has tried everything and still feels stuck when it comes to weight or hormones or food guilt, this episode is for you. Today, I am joined by Debbie Harris, Integrative Nutrition Health Coach, certified hypnotist, and author of Dieting Sucks for Women Over 40. Debbie is a former lifelong dieter who hit a wall during menopause and realized the problem wasn't her body, it was diet culture. In this conversation, we talk about why weight loss goals get harder in midlife, why willpower isn't the issue, and how to stop fighting your body and make peace with food. We also dig into hormones, guilt, community, and what actually helps women create lasting change after 40. If you're ready to break up with dieting and start working with your body instead of against it, you're going to love this conversation. Hello, Debbie. Welcome back to Blueprint Breakers.
Thank you, Amy. I'm so excited to be back here. Thank you so much for the invite.
Me too. And I realized that it was like just about a year ago that we last spoke, and so much has happened since then. And when I heard that you were launching this book, I was like, okay, we need to talk again. We need to talk all about it. And so, Dieting Sucks for Women Over 40. Congratulations for bringing it out to the world.
Thank you.
So I'm curious, like, what compelled you to write it?
Well, Amy, I struggled with my weight my whole life and dieted. I was the fat kid in school and dieted like from age 12. I would take the weight off, it would come back. I would take it.
Mhm.
Believe me, I'm not the only one who's done
Right.
this, trying a million different things. But when I hit menopause, not perimenopause for me, but as many women, but when I hit
Mhm.
menopause, I was a good 45 pounds overweight, but it wasn't even just the weight. You could see in my
Mm.
inflammation
Yeah.
and bloating, and it didn't matter what I did, that weight was not going to budge. Keto, paleo. I even dug up my old Atkins diet book.
Right.
It didn't matter. Intermittent
Mhm.
fasting doesn't matter. So I was introduced to a program that was based with food and some drops and some vitamins, no drugs. And it really helped me. And while I
Mhm.
was going through that, I also had breast cancer. And I knew that the breast cancer, because mine was estrogen based, I felt that it had a lot to do with all the, let's just say, incorrect keto.
Yes.
It was an
Yes.
excuse to lather on the butter, and even if you remember Atkins, I'm dating myself here, but it
Oh, I
was
remember.
a yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
So, I started thinking, "Wow," because my menopause symptoms got better, the weight came off, the inflammation went down. So, we my husband and I, he also took weight off. We decided we were going to introduce this to people. And when we moved from back from the Vegas area to Connecticut, we did.
Mm.
But and we helped maybe 4 or 500 people take weight off.
Mhm.
But I it the there was something that I felt was missing. So I went back to school. I became an integrative nutrition health coach to go along with my certification in hypnosis. And I started doing a lot of research and I revamped everything. And I really wanted to focus on women because the whole thing was all the mind games that I had played all those years about everything depends on your weight and
Right.
measuring your day by how well you ate,
Mm.
or things
Mhm.
like somebody brings donuts or muffins or bagels into the office, whatever. And because you've had that, you now spiral. And so, oh, well, I might as well have pizza. So my book has a program in it that will take off your excess weight. In fact, in the first 30 days, probably 12 to 20 pounds. But more than that, it teaches you how to understand your body's relationship with food and how to keep the weight off and still enjoy the things you want to enjoy. So I just became obsessed with getting every woman who's having a struggle, particularly during perimenopause and menopause,
Right.
solution.
Right.
So,
Yeah, for me, it was definitely perimenopause when it
mhm,
kicked in, but I also see a lot of my friends in ranges. It's different for each of
yep,
us, and it seems to, like, I feel like I'm constantly experimenting, like, just trying trial and error on what works, so I think it's very welcome to have yes, some guidance and a path forward to try to help us figure it all out. So ultimately, like when you said about writing this book and sharing all of this with everybody, what's your ultimate hope that the reader will walk away with when they read the book?
great question. When they read the book, there's also resources on our 30tolife.org website. There is also our Balanced Warrior community membership. So, my goal is for women to read the book, whether they do the Kindle version or the paper version. Although I will tell
Mm.
you, if you do the paper version, there's stuff to fill out in there.
Mm.
And then join our Balanced Warrior community membership. Why? Because in there, you're going to be able to receive daily videos from me, daily accountability. I'm going to do live meetings once a month. There's tons of resources in there because the one thing I learned is support and accountability are key factors.
Mm.
If you don't have somebody constantly patting you on the back and telling you you can do this, or as I say throughout the book, you are a warrior. Your journey is real. You begin to just you begin to have all that negative talk again, and you begin
Right.
to think, "I can't do this. I've tried before. I know I'm not gonna succeed." So, my true goal is that women do the program all the way through, so they actually learn how to keep the weight off, as I have,
Mhm.
and that they join us in the membership so that they can get that support. And the way we set up the membership is if you join and you meet certain very simple goals throughout the first year, I'm going to buy your second year membership to ensure that you become a
Yeah.
freedom eater.
Yeah, I remember when you shared that with me and I was like, "Whoa, are you sure? Are you sure about that, Debbie?"
Yep,
It's
yep. I
it's
want women to, I may look at it later and go, what were you thinking?
why'd I do
But
that?
right, but my goal is to really
Yeah,
incentivize women to say, "I can do this, and I can do it long enough that it
right,
becomes second nature, and
right,
the weight is just gone." Not only the weight, but it's going to have a dramatic impact on your symptoms because you're balancing your hormones.
right. Okay. And that all makes sense because information and education obviously is a good, valuable thing, but as a standalone, it's harder to make that stick because on some level, you can educate yourself and we can think that we know what to do, but how come we don't do that on a regular basis? It's more of like a roller coaster. So that really resonates with me in terms of like having the support and having the accountability just ongoing because there's like ebbs and flows I
Right.
would think as you're going through this process.
That's
Makes
right.
sense to
You're
me.
right, Amy, it's never a straight line. So
Mhm,
what happens is, and I've seen this over and over again, you might have a day where, for example, the first 30 days, you really are having, I don't want to say strict because you are eating 3 meals a day, but
mhm.
you're not having certain things. And
Right.
don't worry, everybody out there, you can still have your morning coffee. Um, but let's say on day 15, whatever happens and you have something that isn't on the program. You're
Mhm.
absolutely right, Amy, because then what happens is you start that whole thing of, well, so what I want is to make sure that you know that on day 16, you're getting messages, you're getting information, and you also have a place where you can communicate to say, hey, I need some help today, or whatever the case may be, read some self hypnosis. So the book teaches everybody self hypnosis, but you also have all that guidance in the membership portal.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. So, one of the things that you talk about in the book is breaking free from diet culture and food guilt. Can you share a little bit about that? How do we do that?
Yes, of course. And not everybody agrees with me on this one, but I don't care. The thing is this, I teach an 80-20 lifestyle at the end. So,
Okay.
as I just said, what I want is if something happens on day 15 in the first 30 days, I
Mhm.
don't want guilt and self recrimination. I want every woman to understand. And by the way, I get this question all the time. Yes, this program will work for men, but my book is specifically geared to what us ladies do.
Okay.
So I don't want you to feel that, oh my God, day 15, I want you to understand that it's okay. There's no guilt, there's no self recrimination. Now, go through the whole program, take off the excess weight, get to a place you're comfortable. Now what? This is always the thing. Now what? So that's where I teach you to be a freedom eater and understand that 80% of the time you're going to eat whatever you want to call it, clean, normal, program, I don't care what you call it. 20% of the time you're going to be able to do what you want without guilt, without recrimination, and without gaining all your weight back. For example, you might go on an all inclusive vacation. Now, you've been following along, you've been practicing what I say, and then you just go on that vacation and you're like, you know what? I'm going to drink my money worth and I'm going to eat my money worth. And you come back and you get on the
Mhm.
scale and the scale is up 3 or 4 pounds.
Mhm.
Because you know what's happening
Mhm.
and because you've become a freedom eater, within 2 to 3 days, that's gone.
Mm.
And you actually find yourself by the end of the vacation, I know because I feel this way, looking forward to getting back to your quote unquote normal or usual way of eating.
Mhm. Mhm.
So there's no guilt. You can live. I
Right.
am not of the belief that anything is never unless you're allergic to it.
Mhm.
So we talk about trigger foods. We talk about dealing with those foods that, like me, if you put a bowl of cashews in front of me, I'll be like, nope, those are for me. So I don't have them in the house. And when company comes, I go, oh, okay. I can get like a big fancy mixed nuts. And then my
Mhm.
husband will eyeball me while we're sitting with our friends, like, stop eating the cashews, picking out the cashew. But at the end of the
Mhm.
day, those nuts are going home with my guest. So
Mm.
it's about learning to literally have peace with food, understanding what
Mhm.
works for your body, understanding how to go about your life and still be able to have those things, whether they're related to a childhood memory or a holiday dinner or party, or it doesn't matter.
Right.
There's no guilt involved.
Mhm. What I like about that is that you're not striving for perfection and you're not promoting perfection.
No.
80% sounds doable, you know?
Yes.
So it sounds more human and real.
Yes. Well,
So, That's
And
great.
if I told you to I always say, if you tell a 2-year-old or a teenager to never do something, well,
Mhm.
we all know what the outcome of that is. That's the first thing they're gonna do. And your subconscious works that way. It doesn't wanna hear never. And it's not practical, like you just said. If I told somebody you can never have ice cream again,
Right.
it thi that's the immediate thing is, "Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So, no, you can, and you learn how to have it, so it's okay."
Mhm. Okay. Okay, so I noticed that the name of the book is for women over 40, and you really wanna address the hormone solutions as well. But why is it so much harder at our age? Maybe it's just me, maybe it's just been harder for me at my age, but why is it harder during this time of life?
Well, when we start having estrogen impact our hormones,
Uh-huh.
couple things happen. We become more insulin resistant. That
Mhm.
helps. I shouldn't say helps, but that is one of the reasons we start storing fat around the middle. In addition to that, cortisol is often raised. Now,
Mhm.
that happens for a lot of reasons. Our hormones affect it, like estrogen. However, it's also related to stress and the environment and the type of exercise we might be doing.
Right.
That also causes us to store weight around the middle. So, when those two things happen, and we often don't sleep as well, sleep is another factor that can cause or that can make it much harder to release weight. So, when
Good
you
point.
start
Yep.
putting all this stuff together, you might as well knock your head against the wall as it just becomes very difficult. It's not you, Amy, and it's not any
Mhm.
woman out there listening to me. It has nothing to do with you or willpower. It has to do with this diet culture that you mentioned, Amy, that we've been fed for so long. So, by taking certain foods out of your diet for 30 days that tend to cause inflammation, which
Mhm.
adds stress. By exercising a certain way for 30 days, by doing some self hypnosis, you're going to balance things out, particularly cortisol, and the weight will release.
Mhm. Okay. How can we support ea each other as women? And the reason why I'm asking that is because when we talk about diet culture and everything, we do a lot of that to each other. Like even with when we're socializing or when we're with our friends or when we're at events, even today there's like judgment about what people are doing. Or I've noticed sometimes when I share some of the choices that I'm making for what I'm doing for my health, everybody and their sister has an opinion on like whether it's the right way or the wrong way or the blah, blah, blah. So do you have any thoughts on that? Like as we're navigating this, how do we better support each other as women?
That's a really great question, Amy. And that's why I built the Balanced Warrior membership. And you're absolutely right. Because, first of all, there's so much information out there. The one thing that see missing from all the information out there is that everybody is different. Everybody is unique. And I say this over and over again in my book. Comparison, stop comparing. Stop looking at what she's doing or what she's doing at the next table. So, as you said, what works for you may not work for the person next to you. And the
Mhm.
idea is to allow you to figure out what works for you. So the
Mhm.
only thing we can really do, and I'm seeing this more and more among women, is give each other support and
Mhm.
say, hey, that didn't work for me.
Mhm.
Intermittent fasting is a perfect example
Mhm.
because everybody's like, well, are you intermittent fasting? No, as a matter of fact, I'm not. I did not care for it.
Mhm.
And then the stuff starts spouting out.
Mhm.
Listen, if it works for you, great. If it doesn't, that's okay.
Right.
You have to find what works for you, and you have to work with your healthcare provider, whoever that
Mhm.
might be, someone you trust to really talk about things like nutrition and food, which
Mhm.
again, the medical field is not adequately trained to do. And menopause, forget it. That's just an added in this country. OBGYN residency programs, most of them still do not have a menopause component, which
Right.
is like nuts. But this is the issue I hear from women over and over again. I'm not getting the answers that I need. I'm getting things like, well, it's menopause. Well,
Mhm.
okay. And because everybody's symptoms may be different, as you pointed out, people start thinking, well, is this me? My friend didn't tell me that this happened to her. So all I can say is be kind to each other and understand that everybody is going through something. It may not be what you're going through, and they need to find their way. It's okay to give it, hey, would you like my opinion? So
Mhm.
always ask if someone wants your opinion.
Right. Right.
And if they say no, not really, then zip it. But if they say yes, because this is what I'm also finding, women are learning from each other. So I do my menopause magic circle once a month on the first Tuesday. I think it's the first or second Tuesday. It's the first Tuesday. It's next week. And women are giving each other advice. So I've had women express, "Oh, man, I'm going through this," and someone else say, "Oh, I went through that. Here's what I did, and it really
Right.
helped me."
Yeah.
So I think if we look at it, we are the greatest source of information and experience for each other
Mhm.
because we're actually going through it and finding answers. So
Right.
share.
Right.
Women coming together and sharing to support and give each other information, valuable
Mm.
information.
Mm. Right. And as I'm hearing you say that, it's also striking me that it's also about the self-judgment. Like when you're talking about the comparison, like you said, the 80-20 lifestyle, and then you see the woman over there who's seemingly doing a 100-100 lifestyle. So it ends up so you're turning that judgment in on yourself. So the community that you are talking about, that's what it would help with. I think that's
Yeah, you're so right. We are so crazy with ourselves. What in the world? Food is joy. Food is not good or bad. Food is tied to everything, our memories. You can't go cold turkey with food,
Mhm.
cigarettes, with alcohol. So, okay. So it's just like you said, it's learning that I would do the same thing. I'd look at a table and go, "Oh my god, how does she eat all that? She's so thin." And now I would look and go, "Oh, I see that she's having that. Okay, well, that probably works for her." It's and believe me, it is difficult to look around these days. I understand about body shaming and all of that, but I also don't think it's appropriate to be 100 or 150 pounds overweight. And we're seeing
Mm.
this with kids.
Mhm.
And when you see commercials on TV for type 1 diabetes
Mm.
and the person talking is a teenager,
Right.
that's another thing that I'm very concerned and very passionate about having an impact on. We have to learn that we're okay just the way we are. It's when we look in the mirror, what do you're absolutely right. What do we say to each other? Do we smile,
Mhm.
wink
Mhm.
at ourselves, and
Mhm.
understanding that we have the power to feel confident and to be who we want to be
Yeah.
out comparing ourselves. I think we've all learned by now that everything was photoshopped and everything
Yeah.
was. And now with technology, you don't know. I have the Zoom touch up my appearance on here.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Um,
You don't know.
yeah, we're
Right.
all. It's like my social media person says, "Send me videos," and I said to
Mhm.
her, "It's out of my comfort zone to do videos without using Zoom because Zoom has the touch me up." But I
Uh-huh.
started doing them, and I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah.
it is
Yeah.
what it is, right?"
You gotta
Um,
get used to it. Yeah, when you get used to seeing it,
and
makes it
women,
easier.
the self-talk, and that's where self-hypnosis can be such a benefit too, or just a little guided meditation, or just
Mhm.
knowing that we are all warriors and all of our journeys are real.
Mhm.
And having that feeling that I'm okay. I'm good just the way I am.
Right.
However, I am working towards this or that, minimizing my symptoms, sleeping better. People don't realize how important sleep is. It's not a badge of honor to say, "Heh, I only sleep 4 or 5 hours a night," or "Heh, I never go on vacation." Those aren't
Mhm.
badges of honor, and
Mhm.
that's part of our culture.
Yeah, that's a great point. Another thing that you mentioned in the book, you talk about how it's important to know your why as you're doing this, knowing your why for weight loss. And that's something that I've been trying to like get in touch with, like what's my why? But sometimes I'm curious, are there some whys that are more effective than others?
A why that has feeling attached to it is going to be the most effective. But you're right, Amy, whys change. You might start the program with, "Oh my, I have my 30th, 40th high school reunion coming up in 2 months, and that's my why." And then as you progress, you realize, that isn't really your why. Your why is to be healthier. Your why is to play with your kids, your grandkids, your dog,
Mhm.
be able to continue with physical activities, to be able to travel. And as you explore it, the whys
Mhm.
that are really connected to feeling, those are the ones that are going to be the most powerful. And that's why it's so important to have that accountability because sometimes your why isn't powerful enough. But if you
Right.
have somebody, if you look at your phone every morning and there's a video from me or a text that says, "Hey, it's day this," with a tip or something, all of a sudden your mind goes, "Yes, I can do this." So your why will change. And it should be really something that's like gut connected, something that's feeling connected.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
everybody's why will be different.
Right. Right. Well, I ask you that question. I'm gonna admit this even though I'm a little embarrassed. Because a lot of times I have some very, like, lofty whys, like, I wanna be healthier, I wanna age well, I wanna have more energy, I want my older age to be as healthy as possible. Very strong, very important whys, but they don't seem to fuel me as much as the more shallow ones. As much as, like, I wanna get into these jeans again, or I wanna be at that reunion again. And then I end up having a little bit of guilt about my why. So
Okay, let's address that right now.
right,
I'm
right,
sure you're not alone in that.
right.
That initial why, go with that. It's
Mhm,
as you start reaching your goal
mhm,
that all of a sudden the why may get to be deeper and more long term because now you're getting there. So, what's going to motivate you? So
mhm,
now you go, "Oh, I'm only 5 pounds from where I want to be. I'm feeling great. Well, hell, now I wanna make sure that I stay this way and that I stay healthy so that I
right,
can continue to do whatever." But if getting into those jeans is what gets you motivated, by all means, do it.
right, yeah,
Because again, it's whatever is gonna motivate you, and that's why I say as
mhm,
time goes on, your why may very well change. Because once you're
that's
in
right,
those jeans,
yeah,
what's the why to stay in them?
right, right. No, you're absolutely right, and it's easy to know that, so I know that whatever why is working for me, there's no shame or guilt in that, but again, having the support and the accountability and the people around you reminding you of those facts, I think just makes it even all the more powerful, for sure.
Well, the other thing is we need to remember to look at things that aren't related to the scale. So I talk
Mm,
a lot about that. How are your
mhm,
clothes? How are you sleeping? How does your skin
mhm,
look? What is your
mhm,
mood like? The scale is a number and we use it to gauge,
right,
but that's all it is. What else is going on? Are you feeling more
mhm,
confident? Did you wake up feeling more ready to face the day? Are your rings getting looser? Were you able to put back on a ring you haven't worn? These are the things that I want every woman to key into because it's not
right,
just about the number.
great point. So obviously, I know that you have read a lot of diet books in your life. I have read a lot of diet books, right? So, what is making this book, Dieting Sucks for Women Over 40? How is this different from the others that are out there?
Well, for one, it's my experience, my journey, my experience. And I think if I had to pick one thing, it's
Mhm.
that everybody's unique and you can enjoy the things you want to enjoy. Also, this is all food. There's no drugs in this book at all. So I want to say something about to the women who may be using the GLP-1s or
Mhm.
whatever they're using. That's fine. If you're working with a doctor and that is your decision, once again, that is your decision.
Mhm.
However, what I asked you is this: what's next? Because we all know that once you stop those drugs, the weight will come back
Right.
unless you've done something to address what's going on up here and you've done something to actually change your lifestyle, your habits. So this book can serve as the next step for the people that are also taking weight off by other means.
Excellent. Anything else that you would like the listeners to know?
I want everybody to feel great. I want everybody to and listen, it's not about getting into the jeans you wore when you were 15.
No.
For some women, it may be. I've had women
Mhm.
who oftentimes it's just feeling good, walking
Mm.
by a mirror and feeling good, going to a restaurant and not being nervous or feeling guilty, knowing that there's stuff on there you can order and it's all going to be fine.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I want every woman to feel confident, to be able to go into their closet and not have 5 different sizes.
Yes, I can relate. I can relate. So where can we find Dieting Sucks for Women Over 40?
You can find it on Amazon. If you go to it's on Amazon and a variety of other places. If you go to 32 Life, that's 30 TO, 32life.org, there's a link there. It'll tell you about all the free resources. You can download the
Okay.
journal. There's a weight tracker that we're giving everybody complimentary. And then the membership is there as well.
Okay, great. I'll make sure to put the link to that in the show notes. Thank you so much, Debbie, for coming back. It's good to see you again. I'm really excited. I'm in the middle of pouring through the book. So very exciting. And thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Amy. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for today's episode of the Blueprint Breakers podcast, Why Diets Fail Women Over 40. And a very special thank you to my guest, Debbie Harris, author of Dieting Sucks for Women Over 40. Check out her book. And you, the listener, thank you again for listening. And if you haven't done it already, whatever podcast platform you're listening on, please make sure that you subscribe or follow and give us a 5-star rating. Have a great week. Keep on breaking those blueprints and rewriting your own.